up, everybody? This is Matt. Let me stop. That sounds so corny, man. This is we should do it like the NBA announcers. At 6'1", coming from Detroit, Michigan, Matt Clayton.
Ooh, what up, dog, man. Or be
Hey,
like Giannis, bro. How Giannis be boxing, bro.
yeah, hey, real quick, y'all realize how I said my whole name, so y'all can LinkedIn me. I'm public, bro. I ain't got no, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't got no aliases or anything like that, man. That's my real name. You can look me up, man. Hey,
Yeah,
connect me on LinkedIn.
hit me up on the LinkedIn,
On the
huh?
LinkedIn, man. On the LinkedIn tip. We got Ivo.
Yeah,
Man. You want to say a few things, Ivo, before we start?
yeah, man. I'm excited about this NBA playoffs. It's been very competitive. As you guys know, we do commentary on sports, cars, men's issues, personal finance. Man, we talk about a lot of stuff, career advice. So if you guys rocking with us and you appreciate this content, share this content with your fellow friends. If you know somebody in their 20s or their 30s that can benefit from this, share this content.
Yeah. So today we want to ask: will James Harden ever win a championship? Will James
Ooh.
Harden ever win a championship? You know who I sound like? Will James Harden ever win a championship? Will James Harding ever win a championship? Let me stop. Let me stop.
Dr. Umar Johnson.
Yeah. That dude be repeating himself, man. He be, so. But yeah. So will James Harden ever win a championship?
Man,
Uh, go
bro,
ahead.
you want me to take that?
Yeah, go ahead. Start, man.
Man, I'm passionate about basketball or whatever. It's a complicated question, man. You think of James Harden, he's a complicated dude. You think about him back when he was playing with the Thunder. He was baby James Harden. He really, you can't really hold his feet to the fire. I mean, he was young at that time, inexperienced. And I think he played pretty well. He played pretty well as the sixth man on that team with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. So that was before the Houston Rocket James Harden. So that was the first iteration of James Harden.
Yeah.
The second iteration of James Harden was when he became a Houston Rockets. We know him for as the guy that can shoot, the guy that can score about 100 points, the guy that's going to step back and dribble, shoot, hold the ball. Like that's what you know James Harden has, right? The guy that never could get it done. Then you have the third iteration of James Harden, and this is the current form that he's in now, where he's injured a lot. He's out of weight. He's overshape. Overshape. He's he's overweight. He's out of shape, but he's still like highly skilled, right? So you can't ignore the skills, but you do look at he's lost a step, probably 2 or 3 steps, right? So he lost some steps, and you kind of question now, like where's James Harden at? And his contract is almost up this year. I think do you sign him for the max? If you're a team like Philly, I don't know, man. Can you? And that goes back to the question: can you win a championship with James Harden? I would say this. I would say without Embiid, no, especially without Embiid. But on top of that, I think James Harden need a lot of help, and that's why he went to the Nets in the first place. Because James Harden knows that I can't be the Houston version of myself. I can't be the OKC version of myself. This version of myself, I need other superstars to take the pressure and load off me. And I just think that's where he is right now. So I would say you need a lot of help. And if you don't get that help, I think James Harden's done.
Well, I don't think he ever can with this iteration. I think his best chance of winning the championship is doing what Carmelo Anthony is, man. Coming off the bench later in his career. Because I watched
Not the
Gilbert,
bench, bro.
yeah, coming off the bench, man. I know Gilbert Arenas said something, man. I think it was an interview. Him and whatchamacallit, Paul Pierce were doing, and he was saying how James Harden never developed off ball skills. So
Mm.
so like I mean, and I think what happened is like the same thing's happening to James Harden, the same thing that happened to Charles Barkley. A lot of those players, right? I mean, you saw it happen to a lot. Tracy McGrady. I'm not gonna put Tracy McGrady in the same category as like Charles Barkley, though. But I think you guys who, and I don't know anything about Tracy McGrady's personal life. I'm not making this claim, but I think guys just kind of they play, and then and I say more so Charles Barkley. I kind of keep it in that, but he probably was living his life. Same thing happened to Shaq as he got older. They were living their lives doing them. So they didn't age as well as they could have because they just didn't stay in shape. And I think that what we see with James Harden is that, like you said, man, the partying, the strip clubs, that lifestyle is catching up to him because he's probably in his early 30s. and he just can't. I think he was born in what 89, 90 or something like that. So
He's 32, 32.
yeah, your body just can't recover. He can't do that anymore. And and I think what it is, he's still going to get paid. So he can't win a championship being a star player like that, demanding that kind of salary with the salary cap restrictions in the NBA and win a championship. Because you see it right now. I mean, Embiid is the dog. I mean, James Harden, it's kind of like you said. I mean, Tracy McGrady had this thing too, where they had like a good 4 or 5 year window where they were really great. And Tracy McGrady, and then that was it. Not to say they weren't bad players after that, but it kind of shrunk a little bit. And I think part of that with James Harden is just probably come down to conditioning, and then that style of play just doesn't translate over as you get older.
Yeah, I know, man. And it's not good. You're right. Because when he got out of Houston, he was in pretty good shape because they lost the game. They lost that series to Golden State in six. I think it was 6 games when Kevin Durant went down or whatever. This was in 2018. That was the last version of James Harden that was really excellent.
Yeah.
And at that point, he tried to force his way out of Houston to the Brooklyn Nets, and he just gained a lot of weight, and it was noticeable. And I think he was trying to send a message and troll the Houston Rockets and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm not coming back here." And in the process of doing that, he created some bad habits. And I think habits are hard to break. And we talk about this all the time. Like those habits, they kind of follow you along the way. And he just always seemed like a player to me who was really talented, really gifted, but never really focused on his craft. Like LeBron, I think about a guy that's really locked in is like LeBron. LeBron is about to be in his 20th year. I know I'm a LeBron fan, so I'm kind of biased. I know, but LeBron has been like, you see that dude's body, bro. He take care of his body. You can't say that. The dude spent $1.3 million on his body.
Yeah.
So that lets you know that he knows that his body is the product, right? It's not necessarily his skills because those will diminish, but I mean his body will diminish. But if he can preserve his skills as his body slowly diminish, he still can do good things like Jordan did. Jordan, Kobe, they start doing more fadeaways. They start learning how to score in other ways, how to impact the game in other ways. I think James Harden, he can't blow past people anymore, right?
Yeah.
He lost that burst. That burst. He doesn't get the calls like he used to get the calls. And on top of that, third, teams are game planning against him now. They're trapping him really hard off the pick and roll, especially off the pick and roll, and he can't make those adjustments. He's turning the ball over at record rate. So you add all those things in there, it just doesn't seem like to me James Harden is going to be a good fit unless he's playing with like other superstars.
No, I agree. And I think it's two things that happen with James Harden that I think that's impacting two things that are impacting like people's perception of James Harden. I think one, and I think the obvious thing is LeBron James. Like I think the LeBron James, how he take care of his body, has taken care of his body. It kind of people kind of expect that now. So people kind of
Yep.
expect players to actually have that level of like fitness and things like that. So I think that's one of it. That's one of the things. And I think secondly, historically, this is normal. I mean, think about it. Even LeBron James in Miami, after year two, I mean, after the first year, Dwayne Wade was on a decline physically after year one. I mean, Larry Bird had back problems, towards the end of his career in Boston. Think about it. Michael Jordan, as dominant as he was, played only 12, 13 seasons with the Bulls, because he took that time off. You know what I'm saying? So, Charles Barkley had maybe a window of the late 80s, early 90s where he dominated. Patrick Ewing, by the time he got to the mid 90s, wasn't the same Patrick Ewing. Vince Carter, we saw kind of going to decline. Carmelo Anthony. This is normal where you see guys just kind of decline when they get a certain age. So, so they probably take care of their body to some extent, but they historically have never taken care of their body at that level like LeBron. So I think that's something that people forget. And I think what is also happening with James Harden, I add this as a third point, is that he just didn't get the most out of the time in which he was really good. So like, yeah, Larry Bird's window probably, I mean, what, 79 to what, 90? So we're talking about maybe he played 12, 13 years, but he won how many, 3 championships? So it's like a lot of those guys just got more during that time, so like, Jordan won what, 6 finals, so I think what happens is that a lot of these guys just have small windows, small
Wow.
windows. Because think about it, if Vince Carter would have won a few championships, we'd be talking about him very differently. So Trace McGrady, like their window, they just got hurt. I mean, they didn't dominate in that window. I think that happens quite a bit.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting point you mentioned. Windows. We talk about windows, and
Yeah.
windows in sports are very, very short, razor thin. We thought the Golden State Warriors were going to be a dynasty for years on end. And one of the things that's interesting about them is that they had that run and then they completely fell off a cliff. But the interesting thing about it is they have the nucleus and they understood this. They were able to recover really quickly. Like they had
Yeah.
what, two bad seasons after KD left, and
Yeah.
now they're potentially may go back to the finals this year.
Yeah.
And so I look at that like, would you think as well, Matt, that the system that you play in could make a difference as well? Like management matters and
Yeah.
systems matter as well. What would you say to that, bro?
And I say this to kind of close it out, and then you can give your point. No, I just think you just need fresh blood. I think that's all it really is. I for me personally, I don't know if Golden State's run is actually that sustainable. I mean, Klay Thompson is not the same Klay Thompson. Steph is, I mean, Draymond is getting like they've got enough fresh blood to kind of keep it going. But if Wiggins doesn't really grow, if Wiseman comes back and he's not really healthy, they might have had a good 1 or 2 year run. You see what Memphis is doing. Memphis is getting a good run for their money. So, I don't know how sustainable their rebuild is, right? They may just be getting too old at this point compared to like those new teams. So you see Memphis is just younger. What's your thoughts, man? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's
Yeah, no, I agree. I guess what I'm trying to say is that leadership matters, right? I'm
yeah,
talking about the office, the front office matters, right? That matters because you got to draft, you got to have scouts out on it, you have to have people on the team. You have to build a fundamental style like this is what we do here. And Golden State, what they do well to me, is they have this, and I know we got off James Harden, but I think they have this mention of stronger together. So they have this thing that where they feel like nobody's above the nobody's above each other. We all are under one team, one umbrella, and we all pass the ball, make the extra pass. The open man takes the shot. Whoever's there is no ego involved. And I think when you play with a James Harden type person, where somebody is super talented like that, the system is built around that person.
yeah.
So when that person breaks down, which we're starting to see in real time, James Harden is breaking down, then guess what? Your team is going to break down as well. So that model of I'm going to build a franchise around a guy like James Harden, that's dangerous. So all in all, basically, I know I went a long way to say that systems matter and front office matter, leadership and systems matter. I think James Harden is a front office within himself, but I don't think he's going to win a championship. I think at this point of his career, he's on a downcline, he's on a decline, and he's declining fast. So if he don't win a championship this year in Philly or next year, I think you're going to see similar to what you see with Russell Westbrook, just a steady decline and just constantly being traded and bounced around the NBA.
I mean, I know I had one more thing, but I think you said something to me that was interesting, right? I think about like James Harden being his own front office, right? And I honestly think too, when I think about his time in Houston, the problem that I think ended up happening with Houston is like their best chance was when they had Chris Paul, but Chris Paul was really going to decline. And so I think you see Chris Paul doing really well in Phoenix because he got young guys with him. And maybe that goes to your point about the front office as well too. Like I think you're right about that, right? Like because Chris Paul is playing with younger Devin Booker, he's playing with younger DeAndre Ayton, Bridges. He's got these younger players, and I think with James Harden, I get what you're. I take that back. I kind of get what you're saying, like a little bit. Like it's kind of, he never the way his style of play doesn't allow other players to develop skill sets within the system because he is the system. So they never developed a lot of the younger players. I know Dwight Howard. I know how people feel about Dwight Howard, but he always complained that he never got the ball enough. I think Chris Paul's personality was so much of an alpha. He was going to do what he wanted to do. Plus, he was point guard, and I think Embiid's personality is give me the ball. So like,
get out the way. You get the
get
ball.
out
Get
the
out the
way.
way.
Get out the way. Get out the way. And in my opinion, though, bro, I don't know what the inner workings of the locker room were in Brooklyn. And like I said too, I don't think James Harden's ever going to win the championship. I know, we could talk about this. That might be a topic for a whole different day. Kyrie Irving's personality. That's a flaky brother, bro.
Oh.
That dude, Dandruff, bro. Kyrie Dandruff, bro. That's a flaky brother, bro.
Christmas,
So,
bro.
huh? What do you say?
Snowflake, bro.
That's a weird dude, bro. He's about to work.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, no, I agree, man. I mean, you agree with me? You don't think he's going to win the championship?
No, I don't, bro. I don't.
No, bro. We might get some championship rings before he does, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. We'll see though. I mean, like, I think they're down like I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe they're probably even eliminated, bro.
yeah, because I don't think Embiid's going to even play game 3.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
And you can't eke out one win against the Heat. I mean, Heat are good, but they ain't that good. You can't eke out
I know, man.
one win, bro.
But what's the difference though, bro? Like it goes back to what I was saying. Front office. The Heat got a really good front office and they got a
Yeah.
good system. Those are two things that I think if you're gonna win a championship, you need a good front office and you need a good system. And I think Milwaukee, like all the teams who won championships, except the Lakers, they have LeBron. LeBron is an interesting, he's a system within himself, but LeBron is rare. But most times than not, teams who win championships, they got good front office and good systems to play in. And that's what you've seen. I mean, from the Spurs, from the Bulls, from the Lakers. That's just what you've seen, bro.
No, I agree. I agree, man. Well, everybody, thanks for checking in. So by the time you see this video, 76ers might have been eliminated, to be honest. So
yeah, they ain't gonna make it, bro.
They ain't gonna make it, man. Hey, bro, hey, bro, you know what I'm thinking about, man. KD probably at home, like, man, 76ers down 0-2. If he dies, he dies, bro.
No, he may be thinking about joining the Celtics next year. Like, let me take my talents to the Celtics, bro. I'm out. I'm straight out, bro. KD be jumping that bandwagon, bro.
You wrong.
I'm sorry, KD, if you see this, man, please don't.
Don't tweet about
I'm
you,
just
bro.
saying.
Tweet about
don't tweet about me, bro. I love you, KD, bro. I think you're a really good brother, man. But I'm just saying, bro. Don't join the Celtics, bro.
Tweet about you, bro. Okay, then, man.
All right, peace, bro.
Yeah.